filmed and recorded for live and subsequent broadcast available through the Council's website. The Council is a data controller under the General Data Protection Regulations and Data Protection Act 2018. We broadcast and record Council meetings to fulfil our public task obligation to enable members of the public to observe the democratic process. Data collected during the process will be retained in accordance with the Council's published policies available through the Council's website. Members of the Council are reminded that they should follow the Council's established meeting protocols, including around use of the chat facility, and that comments made in the chat facility are visible to all participants in the meeting, which may include members of the public who have received invites to the meeting. So with that, can I turn this over to Diane to go for roll call, substitutions and declarations of interest.
We have an apology for absence from Councillor Nelson, and in the later education business, Fiona McDonald, the parent representative. We'll now move to an attendance roll call before proceeding to the declarations of interest. Can the following members please indicate if they're present at the meeting, either in person or remotely? Councillor Armstrong.
Present in the chamber.
Councillor Brennan.
Present in the chamber.
Councillor Clockerty.
Present in chamber.
Councillor Hellier.
Present in chamber.
Councillor Maguire.
Present.
Councillor McVeigh.
In chamber.
Councillor Quinn.
Present remotely.
Councillor Reynolds.
Present remotely.
Councillor Robertson.
Present in the chamber, sorry.
Councillor Wilson.
Present remotely.
Are there any declarations of interest?
Thanks for that, Diane. Can we move on to agenda item number 2, which is the community's revenue budget? And I'll ask.
Thanks, Convener. This is the community's revenue budget report 2025. The community's revenue budget is currently 5.762 million, and the latest projections an underspend of 51,000. It's equivalent to 0.9% of the budget, and it's a decrease in projected spend of 59,000 since the last committee. The underspend mainly relates to an over recovery of school WEX income. And it should be noted that the projection excludes 166,000 of Inverclyde leisure utility bills, which are currently being funded centrally from an earmarked reserve and forming part of this report. So the main part of the report to refer to is section 3.3, that lists the main variances responsible for the projected underspend. Section 3.4 and appendix 4 gives you details of the earmarked reserves. The only remaining earmarked reserve for this part of the committee is community grants, and there's no expenditure on this until 25-26, when it will act as a substitute for a budget saving. There are no violence that are being requested this committee cycle, so committee are asked to note the projected underspend of 51,000. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Ian. I'll open up to any questions. Can't see any questions. Can't see anything online. Can we agree the report? Can I move to the capital report? I'll get Hugh to start off with that. Hugh?
Thanks, good afternoon, everybody. This is just a standard report on our community's capital and asset related items. Within the report, you'll see that we're engaging in a number of projects. 3.5, we look at the latest pitches and assessment for the asset management plan and recycle fund. We continue to look at the lifestyles of our pitches and other things that we have replaced over time. The project to upgrade the pitch floodlights is partly funded by the Scottish Football Association, and UK funding is now complete. Community Hub Glasgow, now known as the Glasgow Community Hub, is now complete, and the official opening date to the public is March 2026. Thank the Provost for opening the event on the 6th of May. Folkestone Community Centre, the new childcare early adopter hub, was officially opened this morning by the leader of the council, Stephen McCabe. I'd like to put on note of thanks to Gavin Murray and Alfie Davis, teams for Direct Works, who managed to get us over the line in the time to spend the money from Scottish Government, and the money they got from Scottish Government of £500,000 was spent in time for the end of the financial year. And I'd like to thank the staff for doing all the work, and also with my own staff within that. 3.8, I'm delighted to confirm that we've now had an agreement from Scottish Government Regeneration Capital Fund Board that we have now been successful in retaining getting an allocation of £515,000 to do the upgrade to the Bank Street facility in partnership with the Scouts, 30 Scouts group. Ongoing discussions at the present moment with the Scout group. This got a very tight turnaround. Again, we have to have contracts signed by the end of this calendar year. And also what has to be in to allow us to get the money allocated to the project. 3.9 within the paper gives you an update of where we are with our asset transfers group that Tony chairs, and happy to take any questions on the report.
Thank you. I'm going to open up to any questions. I'll bring Natasha in and then Pamela.
Yeah, thanks, Convener. It's not questions, it's more so thanks. There's a lot of good work within this very short report. So I just want to thank the teams that worked on the King George VI building, which we will never need to call it that ever again, and for the Bogelstone Community Centre. I'm aware that there's an item later on that talks about that in the early programme. But I think between these two facilities, that hopefully this shows Port Glasgow that we've got commitment, and families in the area that we've got commitment, providing them the best facilities that we can, and that we're really grateful to be able to do that with the funding that we've received, and that we hope that these will become, you know, vibrant hubs for their area. So thank you to the teams, and please pass that on. Thanks, Convener.
Thanks, Convener. It's just to put on record our thanks to officers for the guided visit to Bogelstone. I'm probably less familiar with it than other elected members. I thought that, think it's a fabulous facility, and thanks very much for arranging that. Thank you.
Francesca.
These things come in threes, Convener, so yeah, I'll follow on with that theme. I mean, hot on the heels of being at the opening of the community hub last week in Port Glasgow. It was really excellent to be there. There was, I think, what I felt was real tangible joy and enthusiasm from a diverse range of community groups who were there at Port Glasgow Hub, who were all right behind that project and really appreciative of the work that had been done, and it was lovely to be a part of that. Then earlier today, obviously, there was the opening of some of the parts of Bogelstone, and I think as Councillor McCabe said when he opened it, it was a real sense of the great things that can happen when local and central government work together. And people there were talking about the Inverclyde approach, and what I saw with that there was working together for and with the community, because I don't think anyone could have failed to be moved by some of the parents who were in the room and the real emotion they were experiencing at seeing what there was in Bogelstone, and they told some really lovely stories about it as well. And then on to my own ward and yours as well, Convener, just really good to see that happening with the Bank Street Community Hub. So yeah, thanks so much. Lots of fun. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Francesca. I can't. Oh, Councillor Wilson, David.
Yeah, thank you, Convener. An excellent report, plenty happening. Well done, Hugh, to you and your team. I would like to just pass on the thanks of Lodge, Cumberland, Carwinning, number 217, for the refurbishment of the King George VI building. They're pleased with the outcome and are looking forward to being in there in September. Thank you, Convener.
Thank you, David. And I did manage to see behind the curtain, which was an experience for me, so I thank them for that. My only comments was, I think I could have done without Councillor McCabe speaking about when he was a wee boy going to the youth club at Bogelstone Community Centre. I think that sort of put images on my head that will probably stay there for a while. But yeah, we'll say that there's good things that have happened. One of the things about the Bogelstone Community Centre, and I don't know if you want to touch on this, Hugh. I always remember getting my picture taken in the ladies' toilets in the centre of the Greenock one time with our elderly champion at that time. And Today we were up at Boglestone, and I've got to admit, I was really impressed with the toilets there. I don't know if you want to say something about that. No, I know we're joking, but it is important, given the fact that we're talking about ASN later on the agenda as well, that it is a new way to approach it. So I don't know if you want to say something about that, Hugh.
Yeah, thanks very much, Convener. Convener's talking about the new adapted toilets we're putting in the new facility, and not the toilets in Boglestone, the new adapted toilets we're putting in the new care facility. It's one of the first we've done in the community facilities. It cost quite a lot of new money to do that, but it was an ask from the parents, so we were delighted we could get that over the line. So it's certainly a very able and worthwhile facility now because that's been built.
No, thanks. I wouldn't like the committee to think that I'm touring the toilets area and commenting on all that, but I thought it was important to mention that as well. David, do you still get your hand up? Is it legacy? Yeah. Okay. Can we agree the report?
Agreed.
And can we move on to the community's update report? Tony, you going to take us through this?
Thanks, Convener. So this report again has quite a lot in it, just in terms of the work of the community service. Just, I suppose, the first 6 items demonstrating, I suppose, the library's continued work as community spaces, and also the significant work we continue to do in relation to health improvement. There's also an update on the early adopter, which we've spoken about earlier with the PIB movement informally today. So there's just an update on the early adopter and the Fairer Futures partnership there too. I'd also like to draw your attention to the continued work the service undertakes in relation to the substance use work with young people, and just to note that there's 1,800 of our young people have already taken part in the classes run by the team, and that work continues. That's really good to see. And also, also to draw your attention to the innovative work we're doing with Tesco at the moment in relation to starting a youth cafe in order to try and address some of the anti-social behaviour in town centre, and that's just started. So we'll bring a future update on that back and how successful that's been. So I don't intend to go through the entire report, but I just want to draw your attention to a number of things that are in it, and happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Tony. I'll open up to questions. Natasha?
Again, thank you. Once again, not so many questions, there's just comments. So first of all, recognising the great work our libraries are doing. I feel like every single committee we come to, the subject that the libraries doing, which has been recognised. So it's great to see that continuing. And under 3.6, well done to the newly formed pipe band, the Inverclyde School pipe band, that is very daunting to enter a competition. So well done to them for doing that, although we didn't place, it was still a huge achievement. And then congratulations to the Junior Wind Orchestra for winning gold. I know that last night we were on the cusp of finding that out, and then good luck to Emily and the Scottish Musician of the Year. Then going on to the Fairer Futures Partnership, I already mentioned about Boglestone, so I won't go over that, but once again, great news there. And under 3.9, looking at the young person's substance abuse, I think this piece of work, I know for myself, it's a very welcome piece of work, because we're all too aware of the devastating impact that substance misuse across Inverclyde has from a young age all the way through the generations. So it's great to see this being done, and hopefully we'll see, as the years go on, less and less substance misuse. And then on the Tesco partnership, just great idea, great way of working in partnership with a private organisation to try and redirect the energy of these young people. And I'm really keen to see that report next committee or the one after, depending whichever one's appropriate. But no, some really great work, so thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. I'm going to bring Sandra in. Sandra?
Thanks, Convener. Just a comment. We had a member of the library staff to the last pharmacy locality meeting, and just to say that they were absolutely blown away with the amount of work that's done. I don't think they realised how diverse the services was from our libraries. So that was a really good evening that we had with them. And also just to back up Natasha's comments on the young person substance use work, I'm pleased to see that as well. And I've seen a couple of papers and briefings, and it'd be great to see that good work carry on and develop to the benefit of our young people. Thanks.
Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, Sandra. Go ahead. Ian?
Thanks, Convener. Again, it's just bringing on the very much thank you. And it's a particular thank you for last Tuesday, bringing in the Gurut libraries into what we had. And down there we had a cancer dropout, which I was proud to be part of, working with HSCP and their Gowrie Hospice. It's going to be a great development for people to come in, especially one man who came in and gave us a story last Tuesday of how he's in the later stages of cancer development, which is not well, obviously. And he knew very little of what was entitled to that welfare support. And he came in, he was an older generation man, an engineer to trade, and he was able to tell us that basically he had no contact with computers, but just to walk in and speak to somebody meant so much to him. So just thank you for allowing that to happen with the libraries, HSBC and the council. Thanks very much.
Sure, take that back to you. David?
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to echo the words that Natasha said about the Scottish Schools Pipe Band Championship at Kilmarnock. I attend it as a guest every year, and I can remember our piping group starting off about 4 years ago. We had 3 pipers and 2 drummers, and now we can provide a whole band to represent Inverclyde. It's a marvellous step forward, and we look forward to that band giving the whole of Inverclyde credit in the years to come. Thank you, Convener.
Thanks, David. Sandra, is that a legacy hand you've got up? Do we have any other questions or comments? If not, can we agree the paper? And can we go to Hugh for the next item, which is Inverclyde Multiplier project? This is the ending of the project, I believe, Hugh.
Yeah, thanks, Convener, for this is an update on the Inverclyde Multiplier project that was funded from the UK government. This was only part of this report is based on the work that we've done as across the CLD service. Within the report, I give an update of the key successes that we had over the period of the funding, and also we're giving you a link to the overall action plan and also the report that we've done for it. Within that, we've also looked at the legacy of the Multiply, and within the core services we've taken a wee bit of work on, but not a full amount of the work, as you know, it was additional funding we got as a service to do that, but we've embedded some of that into our core business now to make sure that we're still supporting some learners, especially within the prison element of it. Working in prison is very strong. Part of the outcome we had set within the overall outcomes of this project, short-term funded project. So I'm happy to take any questions on it.
Thanks, Hugh. I'll open up to questions. I've got Elizabeth first. Elizabeth?
Again, mine is in the great tradition of today's meeting, not necessarily a question, but a comment. I'm kind of going to flip what I normally say. I'm usually all about what's the outcome, and I think actually what's happened here is a very clear outcome, and using short-term funding to go, what do we need to embed and put mainstream? You've done that really, really well. I actually want to kind of focus on some process here and say thank you, because it was very clear towards the end of calendar year 2024 that we were in danger of not spending some of the Multiply money and it going back to the government. And by kind of having conversations around that, I'm really proud that you've been able to kind of make sure that didn't happen with the elements of this funding that you were ahead for. And I really want to say thank you, because I think we were in danger of more money going back to the UK government than has. So thank you so much for being the agile team that we know you can be to make sure that didn't happen. So cheers.
Okay, Hugh. Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Can't see anything online, can't see anything in the room. Can we agree the report?
Yes.
The next item is just an update on what institution collections and conservation policy. I think we'll have Sarah online. Sarah, would you like to take us through this?
Sure thing. So the collections, care and conservation policy for the Watt Institution is part of a suite of policies required to support our accredited museum status. Museum accreditation is administered in Scotland by Museums Galleries Scotland, the sector body for museums in Scotland. Reflects adherence to appropriate sector standards and the ethical management of collections held in trust. Although our next accreditation submission is not required until 2027, this policy document has been updated to reflect the structure of the Watt Institution as a single heritage site, encompassing the Maclean Museum and Art Gallery alongside the James Watt Library and Inverclyde Archives. By reflecting the current operational needs of the Watt Institution, the policy will better support service planning and decision-making going forward. The policy takes cognizance of sector standards, it sets a framework for the preservation of the building and collections in our care, it identifies any needs for remedial conservation in our collections, and it informs the safe use of and access to our collections within the limits of our available resources. The format of the policy document has also been updated to reflect the Council's revised standard policy template, and committees asked to note the contents of the covering report and approve the collections care and preservation policy as attached as Appendix 1. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Sarah. I'll open up for any questions. Sorry, I'll open up for any questions. Okay. Nothing in the room, nothing online. So it only gives me to say, because everybody else has been congratulating everybody throughout the meeting, I wouldn't want you to go away without knowing how much we hold the Watt Institution and the work you are doing there as well. So really, there is a thanks to the work you are doing there. It is one of our, I hate to use the word Joan or crowns, but we're proud of our library service and we're proud of the work you are doing there. So please take on our thanks to all your staff as well, Sarah. And
Thank you very much for that.
And with that, can we agree the report? And can I just say, thank you so much. I think we'll need sunshine throughout the year, bring the light into people's hearts. All right. Right, but we'll do that at the end of
education.
End education. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Okay, just Diana. Yep. Oh, yourself. So thanks very much.